Hey friends, welcome. I am jumping on here tonight to talk a little bit about my journey into young living and kind of my personal journey, some of the behind the scenes stuff that maybe you don't know about me yet because it doesn't show up on Instagram, and some of it's just in the past. But I was working on my vision board for 2019, and that's what really got me starting to think about the past and some of the paths that I've taken in my marriage and as a mom and as a businesswoman. So I want to say I've noticed, I've been writing it out, and I've noticed two kind of big trending lines. The first was finances. In our first maybe 5 years of marriage, our finances were garbage. And I can kind of say that with a little bit of a laugh now, but you guys, I was not laughing at the time. We were in turmoil, and financial turmoil caused emotional conflict. It caused depression. It caused anger. I had a lot of anger for a lot of years because of what we were going through. And just like a little glimmer into it, it was things like me saying to Dustin, oh, I'm going to let my hair grow out, that I'm really wanting to see what it looks like long. But the truth was, I knew it just wasn't in the budget right then. I was limiting trips in the car because gas costs money. He was working 2 jobs, so he was working days and nights. Just let that sink in. We had 2 kids at the time, and I can tell you that we had a lot of natural options for their birth and delivery in the early years of raising them. And some of it was because I was just wanting to be a good mom and care about what I was putting into my body and how I was going to labor and deliver with them. And so labor and delivery, I did no meds. I nursed instead of formula, and I used cloth diapers. I was that mom. And so part of it was an idealist, point of view. And the other part of it was all those things were less expensive. So it costs less money to have a natural labor and delivery. It costs less money to nurse. It costs less money after a while to do cloth diapers. So we went through just a lot of struggles emotionally and relationally. We ended up in counseling, trying to work through some of that because we became roommates for quite a while, where if you have a spouse that works shift work, you know that they're not always on the same schedule as you. And that was the case. We were passing in the night, and we were just not connecting. So that's one of our tracks. In order to come out of that, we moved cross country. And I know that sounds crazy, but when you're so far in it, sometimes you do big, crazy things to try to get out of it. And so Dustin took a job in California, which means we moved from Kentucky to California. And then we moved from California to the Cincinnati area. And then we moved from the Cincinnati area back to the Louisville, Kentucky. Technically, we're in Indiana. We're right across the river. So, we took 3 job transfers or changes with our kids across the country to try to right the ship. And it did. That's the good news of this journey, is that when we finally, selling our house in California and ending up in Cincinnati, the cost of living difference is amazing. It went in our benefit, and we found a great financial advisor who really helped us get out of the cycle that we were in. And Dustin was willing to just, take tons of jobs to make it all happen. But So that's one of our storylines that's over here weaving in. The other storyline is we were a family just trying to parent and function and live our best life in all of that. And about the time my oldest started preschool, I started noticing that I was having a harder time with his emotions and focusing, and school readiness skills were not there. And I was at the time a former teacher. So I was very aware of those things. And it took his first preschool teacher to sit down with me in a parent-teacher conference and say, you have a great kid and I want to help you support him. And she helped us come up with supports that were really effective for our child in the preschool setting. Fast forward just a smidge, we've moved our third time. We have our third child. We're in Indiana now. We're in our dream home that we custom built, and everything is gravy. Like, I'm teaching again. I'm a kindergarten teacher at a school district that I wanted, and everything's going really well, except school for our oldest. And when I say that, I don't mean it lightly. We were in the principal's office in week 1 or 2 of school. I can't fully remember because there was so much of it. We had our child switched into a different classroom. We were getting constant phone calls to the point that I started having panic attacks when the phone would ring. And the mom, asked to be removed as a point of contact for the school because it was so gut-wrenching, like upsetting, and I was lacking a lot of function. So we moved from like turmoil in our finances to kind of health and wellness turmoil over here. And it wasn't until maybe midway through that school year that his second teacher sat us down and said very sweetly, oh, your kid is showing a lot of the same behaviors that my kid is exhibiting. And it was the step that pushed us towards a diagnosis for our kiddo that I don't really, if you follow me, you've probably seen the hashtags, but the two major things three, there's always more, focus, emotional dysregulation, emotional support, and social skills. Because when these two are out of whack, the social skills are not coming along. So the diagnosis happened in the late fall of last year. And that was a true trajectory change for our family. Like, our family had grown since all of the financial stress that was taken care of. And now, because of the diagnosis, we were able to get supports in place that were working in a school system. Some of the previous supports we had been using were things like gum chewing. Gum is a great sensory activity for kiddos. It's just not helpful in first grade, right? So, positive physical touch, like his preschool teacher would sit him next to her in circle time and would massage his hands, and that would help keep the attention and the focus there. Those wagons on our wheel, like, our wagon blew up. I used to say, like, the wheels fell off our wagon. No, it didn't. Our whole wagon was like this blazing ball of fire. And it wasn't until we got that diagnosis that we were like, okay, well, we know now what supports we can put into place for him to help him succeed. And so we started doing that. And as we started doing that, I remember I said I had a little bit of breathing room. I remembered this girl. I used to read her blog years ago when my kids were little and her kids were little. And her name is Ashley Stock. And she writes a blog at Little Miss Mama, MOMMA.com. And Ashley was talking about her children and how she was using oils to help support one of her sons for emotional support. And then she started talking about how she was using it for her own emotional support. And I was like, whatever, I don't know about that. Like, I was a little skeptical, but I was like, okay, I'm wanting to do more for my kid. So I'm going to get into these oils. I'm going to buy the starter kit and I'm going to start using these oils for that one kiddo. And the way that I started using them, I went straight to my teaching and I build routines in my classroom, like all the time, right? So, my kids know what to expect, and the kids that struggle with self-regulation can really benefit from that because they have the expectation. It's not like this crazy, chaotic, who knows what's going to happen, what's Miss Halsey going to say kind of a day, right? So if it's morning work time, these lights are off, this song is playing, when the song is done, we'll go over the answers together. Like, I have a very set, that doesn't mean we don't have fun, because we do, but we have a lot of routines too. And so I went to that and I thought, okay, what's an area that we could really benefit from some emotional support for this kid? And it was homework time, because you guys, if you are giving it your all day, and you're like on the edge of succeeding, like not even fully succeeding, but most days you're kind of okay, as far as behaviors are concerned, or school skills are concerned, or executive functioning skills, excuse me. Then when you come home and it's time to sit down and do homework, it was not going well. It was like this fight, and when I say fight, I don't mean fight, I mean emotions. Like, the emotions were big, and I finally said, okay, Alexa, play Mozart, and we would turn it down like really low, and we would kind of dim the lights a little bit, and I would put the diffuser, this has my lemon, lavender, and peppermint in it. It's a good trusty combo, if you will. And I would put this like right in front of him and be like, okay, get started on your work. And when you're done, you can get up and go play. And what I noticed is that by having a set routine with the oils, not just a routine, but a routine with the oils, he started to kind of relax at that time of the day. And not saying that homework was like magically all of a sudden so fun. It wasn't. But there was the breathing room again for this kid. So I had felt breathing room with his diagnosis, and now he was starting to feel breathing room with the use of the oils and as a way to support him. And what was really awesome, guys, is that he's on this side of the island. The diffuser is between us, because I'm over here saying, like, chopping food for dinner on the same kitchen island, and I noticed I was getting supports. And so I started digging in, like, what else can I do with these oils? Sleep support, that's a thing. That was me finding out that sleep support was a thing. Okay. And so it was like, let's get a diffuser for every room. Let's get oil. What are good oils for sleep support? The girls need sleep support. My youngest is a finger sucker. And guys, like, I say that in the sweetest way possible, but that girl is in daycare all day and she's sucking on 2 fingers all day long, and she's touching everything in the daycare and then putting them into her mouth. And her respiratory illness rate was so high, it just felt like she was always picking up a new germ, because she was. So all of a sudden I saw it benefiting my son. It started benefiting me, and I started to look forward to it as my, like, chill down time after school for me as well. But then it was like, okay, sleep support. What's that? You can use oils for your face? Awesome, because all of a sudden I'm starting to take care of myself again. Something I had put on the back burner for so long. And I think the real gem with purchasing the starter kit was the community that I got hooked up with. And like, Dustin was asking me the other day, he was like, because the girls that I'm on a team with are not local, that are my, like, direct uplines. They're in different spots in the country, and we connect through text messages, voice messages, phone call, Zoom calls. Like, we connect, but it's not like face to face. I'm not going and getting a cup of coffee with them. And he was like, are you ever gonna meet these girls? And I was like, yes. Yes, I am, because this is my crew. This is a group of people that are rooting us on for success in our life and are here. When I say to them, I'm feeling this way, they're like, I hear you, and I'm going to speak life into you, instead of like, yeah, that's awful to feel that way. Cricket, cricket. No, they're like legit interested in how the oils are supporting me, but also like they're praying for me and for my family. And we're talking about things besides oils, which is just, it was just an unexpected bonus with this new journey that we're on. So I'm excited to jump into 2019. I'm all in. I told a girlfriend of mine not too long ago, I was like, I am in this knee deep and I want to be in this neck deep. But the truth is, like, I want to be dog paddling because I can't feel the ground. I just want, like, this oil journey I want to share in 2019 audaciously with families that are needing support, because we're getting support from something that is reducing our chemical intake in our household. And I want them to get that as well. So welcome to my channel. This is going to be my first video. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a like if you like it. Subscribe. I'm going to be adding different videos. I have been doing some stuff on Instagram, and honestly, I don't know if it's my connection, but I am finding it a little frustrating. And then the videos are gone in 24 hours, 12 hours, whatever. They're gone. And so I'm excited about this YouTube channel. It's so funny because I heard my kids like plotting their own YouTube channel in the backseat of the car the other day, not knowing that I was going to be starting my own. So I don't know that I'm going to tell them, because I don't super want to encourage this. But let me know if you have any questions. comment below. If you are using oils for homework support, tell me what oils you're using. What is your love? Like, if you're not using oils for homework support and you're just getting in and you're starting with the premium starter kit, Stress Away, Citrus Fresh, frankincense, lavender, like any combination of those, Copaiba, like you guys, any combination of those were in our diffusers regularly. And honestly, because we have a really open kitchen, living room floor plan, but because it was like right in front of us here, I wasn't using a lot of any of them. So I felt like it was a really quick, easy, like 3-4 drops of any combination of those was making it so dreamy. But if you know of an oil that's outside of the starter kit that you're loving for that, let me know that too below, because I'm always open for trying a new diffuser blend. So bye guys, thanks for watching.